Dongeng by Anatan, Chapter 3. If you're wondering what this is, it's because I'm having the new rice straws from NLY Tech. It's a Malaysian company. Support Malaysia, buy Malaysian. Okay, read Malaysian authors' books. Helmi looped around the little roundabout heading to Sarah's apartment a second time, trying to calm his nerves. He wasn't sure what it was. Was he only worried about the orang bunyang? Or was there something else? Asking her to meet the bomoh had been a little harder than he'd expected. Sure, she had seemed somewhat receptive on Friday after the clinic, but there had been a bit of an odd vibe between them when he brought it up early at work. He was quite sure it had nothing to do with the way Julie was grinning at him from a few tables away. So my grandfather knows his bomoh, he remembered saying, shifting his feet nervously as she looked up at him and prompted, "And? Would you be free tonight?" He said we could meet at 8:30 most evenings. I thought, we might as well just get this over with. She turned to stare at the clock. Well, I don't drive, and I don't really want to head home late, if you know what I mean. I know, I'll pick you up. Oh, she thought about it and then nodded. What time? He stays about 10 minutes from your place, so I'll come over around 8:10? I guess that will be fine. The clock on his dashboard showed that it was nearly 10 past 8, so he took a deep breath and turned into the road leading to her apartment. He waved at the guard, who let him in with a smile. Helmi figured he must have come often enough to be recognized by him by now. Sarah was waiting at the bottom of her apartment block. You ready? He asked, as she got into the car. As ready as I can be. Helmi checked his GPS. The short ride was silent. Helmi, full of his own thoughts and misgivings. Sarah, biting nervously her lower lip. It took another 5 minutes to find a place to park along the roadside. The terrace house was dark as they approached. Helmi wondered if he'd gotten the right place, but the porch lights turned on just as the two of them reached the gate. The door swung open, and an old man looked at them with flimsy eyes. Pakcik Rozami? I'm Helmi, Abdul Mansur's grandson. I called you earlier today? Helmi introduced himself speaking in Malay. The old man nodded. Come in, he replied, in the same language, waving them in. Helmi let Sarah enter first, turning to latch the gate before following them into the living room. He wasn't quite sure what he'd expected to find, but it definitely wasn't this. It looked like any other house. An old rattan couch with faded cushion covers, a low coffee table with newspapers cut across it, and an old CRT TV that flickered until the equally old man switched it off. A framed quote from the Quran above the TV, the fan spinning furiously above them. Where were the ocular decorations, crystal balls, candles, collection of herbs and coconuts? He took a seat on the couch beside Sarah, keeping a careful distance between them. He wasn't very orthodox in any way, but he didn't want to give Rozami the wrong impression. Rozami pulled up his seat opposite them, whilst his wife laid a tray of drinks on the table. He seemed a little distracted, mumbling to himself, off and on. Helmi watched him with skeptical eyes. I have never met anyone who has come back from the world of the Orang Bunyan in such a short time, Rozami said, suddenly startling them. Tell me about your dream. Sarah glanced at Helmi before beginning, initially stumbling over her words. Rozami listened intensely, his dark eyes piercing hers, losing their flimsy look. And you're sure it's a dream? Rozami said. When she was finished, Sarah twisted her fingers in front of her. I don't know, but what else can it be? Can you talk to them, the Orang Bunyan? Would they tell you if it was real? The bomoh's gaze shifted to him. I have been talking to them, young Helmi. They spoke to me of your coming. They spoke to me of her. What I want to know is if your friend here can recognize the difference between dream and reality. There was a short pause before she answered. The thing is, I really can't recall exactly what happened. It feels as if everything was a blur. But if it's not a dream, then what was it? Helmi could hear the worry in Sarah's voice. He reached out and grasped her hand, rubbing his stomach over it. in what hoped was a comforting way. You are quite remarkable, Penniper Laura, the Raja of the Orang Bunyan, had hoped to wipe your mind of the experience after you rejected his call for help, but it appears that he was not quite successful. They what? Helmi shot to his feet, hands clenched. Rosaimi cleared his throat. Looking at Sarah, it was non-invasive. All they did was cover her with a glamour. A glamour? Why? Sarah reached up and grabbed his hand, pulling him down to his seat. Can you explain to me what they wanted? I cannot remember what it was clearly. I would like to know. Rosaimi studied her face for a while before answering. They believe you have powers, Penniper Laura. They think that their world is in danger and only you can help them. Why me? I don't even really know who they are. Why not someone like Helmi, who has grown up knowing about them and their legends? Because of who you are, Penniper Laura. Because when you have learned their stories, you can retell them to the world. The old man looked eagerly at Sarah, his eyes now as piercing as an eagle's. Sarah laughed. Tell it to who? I'm just a clerk, Pachi. I file papers. That's it. Any story I tell is just to myself. No one listens to me. But you can. You have the power and the capability, he insisted. She shook her head. Helmi will tell you that all this storytelling has only gotten me into trouble, right me? Helmi felt caught. Well, sir, he started cautiously. I suppose it depends on how you end up using it. I can't deny you do have a way with words. She turned sharply away from him, looking at Roraimi instead. Helmi wasn't sure if she was blushing or crying. So all they want me to do is tell their stories? Roraimi shook his head. Yes, they want you to do that. But they also want you to go and live with them for a while, so that you can also tell them about themselves. Because the magic is dying, and they are forgetting, and soon there will be no more. No. Helmi was surprised to find that he was speaking, that he had risen to his feet, standing between Sarah and Roraimi like a shield. Me? No, Sarah, you can't do that. That one short period they took you ended up being 4, almost 5 days. You go in again, what if you never come out? Helmi, this is not your decision to make, Roraimi said, looking anxiously at Sarah. You can't decide for her. Sir, please, Helmi pleaded, kneeling before her. Shock was written all over her face. But he couldn't spare the time to think about it. If you won't think of me, think of Sue. Think of your family. You won't be gone. You'll be gone and dead to us, maybe forever. Well, I don't know, me. It doesn't even make sense. Can I think about it, Pachi? Does the answer need to be now? The old man nodded slowly. You can think about it, Laura, but don't take too long. They do not have long. Well, none of us do. Helmi and Sarah took their leave, thanking Roraimi for his help. They walked slowly out to the car, Helmi glancing nervously at Sarah often. She had walked out, her head bent, studying the path before her. What did you... she started saying, just as Helmi said. So how do you... Helmi gestured for Sarah to go ahead. What did you mean there? She said. What about? Being dead to you all forever. It's part of the myth, Sarah. Those who decide to live with the Banyan, if they emerge in the world again, many years would have passed in our world. We may all be dead by the time you come out again. Not Narnia. It's Rip Van Winkle, Sarah murmured to herself. What? An English myth? Oh. They fell silent, standing by Helmi's car. Finally, he looked up at her again. So how do you feel about this? Is this something you think you would be able to do? Do you want me to do it? No, well, yes, maybe. If it's something that you want to do, but don't stay with them, I mean. You can write about them from here. That should be perfectly fine, I think. Maybe, if we had a way to... She shook her head. Never mind. Let's go, me. I can't think about this anymore. Development. He paces. That is all you can manage to do ever since Langsieu left. He had been pacing for weeks now, finally getting all the exercise his children and grandchildren have been urging him to get. It doesn't seem to help the worry. It just makes him even more angsty. He wants to go back. He wants to confront him. Ask what he's up to now. What twisted story has he been telling people? What lie has he created this time? But he can't. The portal is closed. The door has been shut to him for 50 years now. 50 years! His heart stutters and he sits down with a bump. No, not now. He can't die now. He must go back. He must find out. He must know. But how? They won't talk to him. Not since the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The enemy? He slumped against the wall. He doesn't know if he should take her up on the offer or if he even still can. Weeks after the fact. He doesn't know how to contact her or if he should. He wants to go home now. He can't. All he can do is pick up the phone to call his son and ask if he can visit. It won't help, but at least he'll be close. Close enough to ask. Close enough to pry. His daughter-in-law's cooking is only a secondary temptation. He pretends it's his main goal. Stay tuned for next chapter, coming soon. Or you can buy the book. The link's in the description. Subscribe!